Good morning. How's everybody doing? Let me see. Usually there's a few more people in chat when I start. Hey Tim, how you doing? Hey, who is in the smoke pit today? What's a smoke pit? Are you calling this the smoke pit? Yeah, I think I got a bunch of photos from you, Tim. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember which ones you sent me, but I have a bunch in the thing today. Let's see. Anybody else here? I'm trying to see. I wonder if YouTube didn't send out notifications because there's only like showing about 5 viewing right now, which is really low. Let me take a quick look here and see if I can see what is going on. Let me check that. So how is everybody else doing today? Hey, Mandy, how are you doing? Hey, welcome back. We missed you last week and had a Rhinothon instead watching some of your indoor cooking ideas. Jonathan Taylor. Hey, how you doing, Jonathan? And just tell me quick, everything sounding okay, looking okay? Just want to make sure. I think it should be. Nothing's changed in the settings. I did change some of the graphics up. I think you might notice that, a little bit of the graphic change. Let me just double check here and make sure the notifications went out. Well, it looks like it went out. So it just must be a slow morning. Everyone must be taking it easy. It is a chilly, rainy day here in Southern California. We had about an inch of rain last night. It's raining right now outside my office, so I won't be grilling outside today. Later today, I'll be making something in the kitchen, which we had pre-planned anyway, which is actually really good. So that video I think will be out tomorrow morning. And then the rest of this week is supposed to be rainy every day, so I'm going to be doing some rain grilling, at least under cover. I won't be doing it out in the rain. I could, but I don't want to do that if I don't have to. So let's see, who else is here? Brian Vstrom, how you doing? Billy Garfield, good morning from Gardena. Yeah, you getting some rain there too? I mean, and I know we had like last night about 3 a.m. in Southern California, we had a huge like squall line move through. Thunderstorms, it just poured incredibly hard for probably about half an hour. I think we may have even had some hail because it sure sounded like hail outside. Tim Van Dyke, I did not see a notification, had to search for it. Yeah, sometimes YouTube, their notification system is odd, and I know there's been some issues lately with other things on the platform, like thumbnails. If you change a thumbnail for your video, it won't show up. It'll pick like some weird picture from the video to make as the thumbnail. So I think they've got some back-end issues on some things going, and they'll get it sorted out, but yeah. Let's see. Emma MTZ210. Hello, Rye. Emma from San Diego, California. Love your channel. Thank you, Emma. I appreciate that. You getting some rain down there too? Did you get some last night? Because it looked like that squall line moved through everything from Santa Barbara down to Tijuana. It was pretty heavy rain. Let's see. Brian says, sounds good and clear. Oh, you got the notification? Yeah, see how it's strange. YouTube will, pick who they think needs notifications. It's not a 100% thing. If you, click that bell, you will almost always get notifications. But their, voodoo algorithms sometimes, decide, oh, you don't need a notification today. You'll go there anyway. So you got to just live with it. Robert Perry. Hi, Rye. How you doing? From Oswego, Illinois. Am I saying it right? Is it Oswego or Oswego? I think it's Oswego. Stefan Battenfield. Hey, Rye, how you doing, Stefan? Or is it, wait, Stephen or Stefan? I'm going to say Stephen. So I know that there's a lot of people when they have the PH there, they pronounce it Stefan, but, Stephen King spells his with a PH. So Danny Seeley, how you doing there? 23 in Southwest Minnesota. That's a little chilly. I think we are, what are we? We are mid-50s right now. So, for Southern California, that's chilly, especially when it's raining. We don't usually get that combination of rain and cold. Usually when we get rain, it's in the 60s, even 70s sometimes. So we get that more tropical rain. So this is actually sort of a welcome sort of thing outside, yeah. Plus, I don't know if any of you watched my video that came out this morning on the Burger Dog. I had this little thing in there of, it was, what was that? Oh, the leaves. I did this little sort of insertion of the leaves as I was lighting the barbecue. And someone made a comment like, hey, really lovely leaves, And I said, yeah, we get fall in January in Southern California. That's when, all the leaves on the trees at my house change. It's not, October or November or December. It's January. They all just go poof, they turn to color and they're gone in like a couple days. Like today with all the rain, these leaves are going to be knocked off the tree. So I will have a lot of leaves to rake up. It's going to be a mess. Billy Garfield, this 3 a.m. I pulled into the parking lot at my dialysis center and got drenched. It was pouring rain and I'm too fat to run between the raindrops. Wow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. 3 a.m. I have a family member who has dialysis and they have an early morning. I can't remember if it's every day of the week. Some days they try and get an early day, but a lot of times it's after work. But yeah, sometimes he'll get in at 4 a.m., which is early. So yeah. So what's everybody cooking this weekend? I know if you're in Southern California, it's kind of rainy, so you may not be out doing much grilling, but what about the rest of the country, across the world? And if you're new here and you haven't said where you're from, go ahead and drop it in chat if you want to. I'd love to kind of get an idea what area of the country or the world people are from. We've got people from, let's see, Australia, Hungary, Mexico, Sweden. There was someone from Kenya even, South Africa. I said Hungary, with Czech Republic, and I think we also had someone from Hong Kong, Japan. There were a couple other Southeast Asian countries. There was someone from Thailand, I remember once in chat. So it's kind of cool when you think of, you do this live stream thing. Forget just putting the videos out and people watch them forever, but the live stream thing where someone can, connect, chat, share stuff. I just find it really cool, and it's always funny for me to hear what someone is, because let's see, it is 11:06 a.m. here, which means in some parts of the world where people are watching, Central Europe and sort of east of there, it's late. And we've had people, up at 1 or 2 in the morning watching, which is just, I don't know. I find that amazing that people will stay up and watch this stuff. So it's cool. I appreciate it. Let's see. Tim Van Dyke says it's cold and raining in North Carolina today. I'll be smoking wings with the Vortex today for the playoff games tonight. Nice. Yeah, Vortex is a wing machine, man. It's a wing machine. Robert Perry, today I'm following your exact instructions to build a basket for my new smoker. It's snowing here. Well, that's a good thing to do when it's snowing then, if you can get, especially in the garage or something. Yeah, that basket, I got to tell you, I built the one for the video, and I built sort of one as a prototype. The one that's been in the smoker is just rocking. I've had that for well over a year. It's not falling apart. Nothing's going wrong with it. And the prototype one, which literally sits outside in the rain, it has slight rust on it, but no, I mean, it's just working great. No problems with it at all. So I'm very happy with it. Yeah. Mandy Speakman, when is your Cooking with Rye book coming out? It's Glenn's birthday in June, so you have just a few months to get it on the shelf. Still have not decided to actually do that. I have other stuff to write too. For those of you who might be new to this chat or don't know anything, my day job is a writer. That's what I do. I write. So that I've got a lot of things to write still. But I don't know. I'm warming to the idea of doing a cookbook. I wasn't sure about that before, but it's kind of growing on me. Pardon me. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor, I notice you make a lot of Latin dishes, carne asada, pork chorizo. Do you have Hispanic people in the family that taught you these? No. My family is about as, and I'm not using this term negatively, as white bread as you can get. I am 50% Swedish on my dad's side. On my mom's side, I am half Irish and another half like European American mutt, just, everywhere, England, Scotland, stuff like that. So really, there's no Hispanic blood in my side of the family. My wife's side of the family, 100% Irish. So no, there's none anywhere. It's just growing up in Southern California, there's such great, Mexican cuisine, Peruvian cuisine, Ecuadorian cuisine. I remember growing up and you'd see a restaurant with a strange name. You wouldn't understand what it was until you went there and they would explain to you, like I remember seeing, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong, called a pupuseria. And I think that's Ecuadorian. And it's these little, almost like empanada things. And it was just awesome. So no, it's just readily available. A lot of the cuts of meat or seasonings and things like that are readily available. They're just great. Great food, great flavors. So I love cooking them. Chorizo and egg is my favorite camping food. When we go camping, and you can cook it out over the fire, so you don't have to worry about the grease. It's just getting that nice pork chorizo in the pan, cracking eggs in there, mixing it up. I just love that. That's my favorite camping breakfast. Let's see. Stephen Battenfield from Oklahoma. Nice. Okay. Robert Perry. Oswego is correct. Oswego. Okay, Oswego. Got it. Tim Van Dyke. Has anyone bought the Weber charcoal today at Home Depot? They have it for $3.90 a bag. Baby Back Maniac posted a video about it. I sent my son to get some. Yeah, I saw his video about that, and someone left a message in on a video saying, yeah, there is other charcoal. I checked my Home Depot online. They don't have the Weber, but they do have what I use, which is just the Kingsford Blue, which is normally about $19 for two 18-pound bags. It's $9.98 for two 18-pound bags. So honestly, as soon as the live stream's over, I'm going to go to Home Depot and pick up some charcoal, because yeah, I would grab the Weber for that price too. They just don't have that in stock at my local Home Depot. Let's see, Robert Barnes. And yeah, what's interesting also is if you saw Justin's truck in that, man, he loaded that up. He plundered that Home Depot of Weber charcoal. If you have not seen his video, it's just a real quick video telling everybody about the sale. Go to Baby Back Maniac's channel after the live stream and check it out. Then check the back of his truck. It is loaded to the rim with charcoal. Let's see. Robert Barnes. Hello, Rye. I did a 19-hour brisket over Thursday and Friday. That's what I cooked recently. I might do Vortex wings today. Nice. Yeah. And I can't remember, Robert, if you sent me pictures yesterday or if it was someone else, but if the pictures come in on Friday, sometimes I can't get to them processed to get them for the live stream. So if I don't get them in today's, they'll be in next week's. I know I have some of yours already set up for today's photos, but I don't know if I got the ones from Friday. So, or whoever sent any on Friday, I don't think I got any of those included. So they'll be in the next one. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor, Tim Van Dyke, love the Weber charcoal. It's amazing. Yeah. Brian Vstrom, regarding size of tri-tip, is bigger better? I had a 5.5 pound in hand, but took the 3 pound figuring it may be more tender. Is bigger tougher? You are the tri-tip guru. I don't know if I'm the guru. I just cook a lot of it. I've done 5.5 pound tri-tips. To me, they're just as tender as the smaller ones. I just look at it as how much meat are you actually going to need. 5 pounds is a lot of meat. And the thing about a tri-tip, especially if it's already trimmed, that's all meat. You'll sometimes get a cut of beef where it says, oh, it's a 5 pound cut of beef, and then you get it home and trim it, and you're taking off a pound and a half of heavy, hard fat. A tri-tip is almost always, if it's trimmed well, just the meat, which is great. So that's a lot of meat, 5.5 pounds, but nothing wrong with a 3 pounder. I usually cook somewhere around 3 pounders, anywhere between 2.5 and 3.25 pound are usually the ones I've found. If I end up going to, say, Costco, they will have the larger USDA Prime tri-tip there, and those are usually a little bigger, somewhere around the 5 pound range that I find. Yeah. Robert Barnes, I got 12 bags of Weber charcoal this morning. Nice. Yeah. I love it when they just have these sales and they just pop up. It's like, whoa, load up on charcoal for months. Yeah. Tim Van Dyke. Jonathan, thanks. I've never used the Weber charcoal. I used it before, but honestly, I use the Kingsford Blue pretty much for everything. I have lump charcoal that I'll use for, I think it's Royal Oak lump that I'll use for direct grilling sometimes. And I know a lot of people have opinions about charcoal. I've just never had a problem with the Kingsford Blue. It works fine. It burns stable. Yeah, there's ash, but there's, charcoal burns. There's ash that comes off of it. I don't have a problem dealing with that. So yeah, that's what I use. And it's usually a good deal. And when there's a good special like there is today at Home Depot, and I think someone said Lowe's will match the price, so I'm not sure about that. When there's a good deal like that, I mean, you can load up on it for months and months. I think I have 3 bags in my garage right now and 1 in my metal sort of container outside. So I'll probably go pick up another 4 bags, and that'll last me, a couple months now. Yeah, I know. I grill 3 or 4 times a week usually, so I go through quite a bit of charcoal. Yeah. So is anybody cooking anything interesting today? I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm cooking later. I am cooking, it's going to be inside because, again, it's just really rainy and cold outside today, so I really don't want to go out there and cook today. We're going to be making something with some shrimp, and it's a great thing that's going to be, you can use it for parties, you can use it for snacks, for appetizers, whatever like that. So look for that video tomorrow. We're also going to be doing a couple dipping sauces for it. One of the things I've tried to do recently is when I do something, like I did with the potato chips, we made the dip. And that got to tell you, if you watched that potato chip video, and you've never made potato chips, give it a try. They're just so good when they're fresh. And the dip that we made with that caramelized onion and bacon dip turned out really, really good. So on things like that, I'm trying to like add more little side things to it. So rather than just have the thing and eat it, trying to make and show how to make a couple different, you know, dipping sauces or things like that. Going forward, I'm going to try and do more of that as we add things. Someone suggested a while back, hey, you should do, you know, some full meal things, and that is sort of in the plan now too. Not every video, but maybe once a week or two, so that you're not just doing, say, a steak. You're going to be doing kind of like a video I did a while back that I think it was the flat iron steak. I think I did the flat iron steak with some fried potatoes. I'm pretty sure that was the video. And I got to tell you that the flat iron steak was awesome, but the fried potatoes were killer. So trying to do more things like that where it's a little bit more than just one piece of the meal. Yeah. Let's see. Tim Van Dyke. I noticed on your video today that you just piled the charcoal to the side, no basket or vortex. I've not seen you do that before. I think I've done it maybe a couple times. Yeah, I just decided to kind of go old school. I knew I was going to be doing a little bit of direct grilling, and I didn't need sort of the vortex to really concentrate anything because I was going to use that spin grate. As I mentioned in the video, I'm not a big believer in sort of the whole spin grate thing with, you know, the steak and cold side. I've seen people do it, and if it works for you, that's great. It's just not something I'm into. But that grate, I'm actually finding uses for it for things like this, where you're going to do a direct and then you're going to do it indirect. So you have a place to do it. You do your direct right over the coals, and then instead of having to pick the meat up and, you know, move it to the other side, you can just spin the grate. I think I used it in another video. I can't remember which one recently. But yeah, that's why I piled the charcoal there, because I knew I wouldn't really need to concentrate it. I knew those burger dogs were just going to be right over that, you know, for a while and then spin them out of the thing. So I didn't need to have them contained in the baskets or the vortex. And, you know, every once in a while, like I said, it's nice to just go old school and, you know, have the charcoal in there. Of course, when I say old school, then what do? I just use my propane torch to light it versus, you know, a little, what do they call them, the haystack things or the charcoal chimney. So, you know, I like my torch. I use that torch all the time because it's nice. I don't know if this happens to you guys, but when you use a charcoal chimney, it was always, at least for me, you're putting paper under it or something like that if you're just using it pretty standard, and you get a lot of smoke right away. And when I use the propane torch, it's just there's no smoke. You just get a small bit of charcoal going with that, and then it catches everything else around it. So I like using that. Let's see. Robert Perry, not sure if they still are on clearance, but I bought my Oklahoma Joe Highland for $185 at Walmart just before Christmas. It was a great deal. That is a great deal. I think I paid $2.99 for mine at Lowe's, and that was on special. You know, it was a couple years ago. So that's a really good deal, actually. $185, nice. Mandy Speakman, did you get any new cooking goodies for Christmas? Yeah, I did. You know, I'll be using some of things in videos and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, let's see. Brian Viestrom, going to be grilling blue cheese stuffed hamburgers. Yeah, those are good. I did a video on, I know I did a couple stuffed blue cheese ones, no, a couple stuffed burger ones, but I think the blue cheese one I did, it was mixed in with the burger, and man, it was good. It wasn't actually, you know, stuffed in the center. It was sort of just mixed in with the meat, and that turned out good, but a blue cheese stuffed burger is going to be awesome. Yeah. I like doing a stuffed burger like that and pepper crusting it on the outside. For some reason, that flavor, the pepper crust and the blue cheese inside, just, I don't know, it just works together for me. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to smoke a pork butt, but I'm toying with marinating it in pineapple juice and apple juice. Has anybody done this? I don't ever marinate the pork butt, just Famous Dave's rib rub. You know, here's the thing about that. Give it a shot. I can't see that it's going to hurt it. People marinate pork all the time. Think about pork chops, obviously a leaner cut of meat, but depends on how long you're going to marinate that. You know, if let's say you marinate that overnight, I can't see it hurting it. You're going to have you know, the acidity of the pineapple juice especially in there that might do a little bit in breaking stuff down, but I can't see that it would hurt it, and it would be an interesting experiment if nothing else. So especially if it's not like a pork butt that is huge that you spend a lot of money on. Maybe if it's one that you got a good deal on and you want to try it. If it was me, I'd give it a shot just to see what sort of flavor you got. I would make sure that I would dry it off, you know, before you put it in there, so that you have not just a sopping wet outside, especially if you're going to put a rub on it. you know, to try and develop some bark or something. But it would be an interesting experiment to try. I generally don't marinate pork butts or anything like that. I have injected them. So you're in the same arena there if you're going to marinate it, but yeah, give it a shot. Let's see. Brian Vstrom, to light the kettle, I bank the fuel to one side and use a heat gun fast and clean. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen people use heat guns too. That's an interesting, you know, way to do it. You know, no flame, just a lot of heat, getting a couple, you know, some of the briquettes going. Yeah. My preferred way to light charcoal now is using the torch. I will still use the chimney when I want to get everything lit, you know, at once, so there's a quicker process to get going cooking. But I find myself using the torch more and more, partly just because the lack of, you know, smoke at the beginning, and I don't know, I just like using the torch. It's just 100% not necessary, but it works, and it has other uses. I think I did a video on it a long time ago, you know, some other uses for it, and one of the things I do use it for is if you cook things, especially in something like the Highland, you know, your offset smoker, where you're not getting super high heat under the cooking grates, you're getting, you know, that lower heat, you'll get stuff that gets on there, the liquidy things, and cleaning them off when it's sort of that liquidy stage, not a crisp stage, is a little more difficult. So I'll take the torch and I'll hit all that to crisp it up, and then it brushes off nicely with the wire brush and things like that. So yeah, I'll use the torch for other things. So I don't know, I'm a torch guy. Let's see. Tim Van Dyke, I love the Weber cubes to light charcoal. I haven't used the Weber ones. I had some other little, they're almost like a paraffin sort of thing to light the charcoal. You can put it in there or put it under the charcoal chimney. I've seen people do that. Plus those little haystack things that go under there, you can use those too. I've seen a lot of people do that, but for some reason, I don't know. Again, a torch guy. All right, so I'm going to get into some viewer photos now, because not last week, but 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the last live stream, I literally didn't get to it until an hour in, and I don't want to make that same mistake. We're going to go in about 20 minutes, so I want to get to the viewer slides. So here we go with viewer photos. Now, if you want to submit photos, as I always say, you can go to my Facebook page. The link is on the screen, /Cooking with Ryan, and you can private message me a photo. Don't do it as a post. If you do it as a post, sometimes I don't see the notification. Private message it with the approval saying that you give me permission to use it, and then I can use it in a live stream. If you don't do Facebook, go to the About section of my YouTube page on a computer, not on a iPhone or anything like that, and there should be an email link there that you can click View Email, and you can then email them to me the same way as an attachment, and also say, you know, you give me permission to use them in a live stream. So without further ado, here go the photos. All right, who we got first? We got Adam Deegan with some brisket. Adam, I don't think you are in the chat. Let's see. All right, but here we go. Nice brisket there. That looks like a nice flat. All right, let's move to the next one. Char Griller, I don't think I saw you in here today yet. Again, I don't think a lot of people got notifications today for some reason. Okay. Doing some tri-tip there. You can tell that just from the shape. Look at that. Nice. Surrounded. Charcoal on both sides. Drip pan in the middle. And I often forget drip pans. If you watched my video from this morning, you'll see that I have a whole part in there where I go, yeah, I think I forgot the drip pan. Ah, nice. Nice looking tri-tip. Perfectly cooked there. Perfectly cooked. Horatio. Now, Horatio, I don't think I saw you in here. Let's see. Doing some brisket. Nice rub on there. Now, were you doing two? Horatio's not in here, but that's it. It looks like he's doing two there. Nice. Good color. It's an interesting shape, that one. I don't know that I've seen one quite like that. I wonder if that's just tightening up, or if he's pushing it with the curve there of the grate. Nice and chopped up. To me, that would be perfect to add like some barbecue sauce to a barbecue brisket sandwich. Oh, nice. Pickles! Pickles, I don't think I saw you in here today, but these are some black-eyed peas. I didn't even have to add the little description. He put it on himself. Flank steak tacos. Look at the color of that meat, man. That looks good. Really good. And this was, if I remember correctly, a ham, and he did a spicy ham glaze. I think that's what he said in his message. Pickles, if you're in here and I've got it wrong, please correct me. But look at that color and that shine on that. That is beautiful. Just gorgeous. And Robert Barnes, I know you're in here. Someone got something for Christmas. 26-inch kettle. Nice, nice. Look at that thing. Beautiful. Indoors. Hasn't even seen the light of day yet in this photo. Look at that, man. Nice. Beautiful. Now, are they the same size charcoal baskets, or do they have larger ones for the 26? I'm curious about that because I'm going to be getting a 26-inch too, and I didn't even think about that with the charcoal baskets. Do they make larger ones? And I think this is what you said. You were breaking it in with this, I think it was a 16-pound brisket. Nice. That's a good price. Yeah, every once in a while at Costco, which I think you got yours at Costco, the Kirkland brand. That's what we see at ours, the USDA Prime, $2.99 a pound. You cannot beat that price. That's an awesome price for that. And making some pastrami. Robert, I can't remember if you told me which wood were you using here. If you're, I think you're still in chat. If you are, drop a note and say what sort of wood you were using for the pastrami. And you were making a roast here, and I cannot remember what you said. Was it a tenderloin roast? But out there, grilling and smoking in the snow. Works for me. Looking good, man. Looking good with the Vortex. And I like how you put the wood over the Vortex there in the inverted, because that's going to give so much heat that wood is going to ignite and smoke. Good idea. Really smart idea. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Robert, if you're in here, yeah. Tell us, what cut was that? I think it was a tenderloin roast, you said, but look at beautiful cut there. Perfectly done. Oh, the nice Vortex all set up. I think this should have been the first photo, but I don't care. I just love looking at a Vortex filled with charcoal. They're so useful. So absolutely useful. Oh, meatballs. That's right. You were doing meatballs. Nice. Beautiful. I also like that pan you have there, the red. Good looking. Oh, this is on your WS. Is this your WSM 22? I think you said. Oh, look at that. Look at that. When I did, I think I know what the next photo is if I remember correctly, and it was. I think it was similar to what I did when in the sauce. Let's see. Yeah, in the sauce, man. Smoking meatballs and then putting them in sauce is just amazing. You get that smoky flavor that gets into the sauce, especially if you give it a little bit of time. It comes off the surface of the meatballs, gets into the sauce, develops. It's just terrific. Tim Van Dyke, pork loin. Tim, I think you're still here. Yeah, so it was, okay, Robert says, yeah, it was a tenderloin roast. Nice. Good looking pork loin. That's a nice long pork loin too. A lot of times when I see pork loins at the store, they'll be packaged or cryovac, and you open them up and it's actually two, you know, that have they haven't bent it, they've actually cut it. So it's nice to see a full length tenderloin there. Good seasoning. But then what did you do? You went ahead and cut it in half. I understand. You got to fit it. Good looking rub. What do you use for the rub? Going in there. Nice. I love a good pork tenderloin. I mean, I've done a few videos on them, and I think one of the things that's nice about them is you can just do them like this with a good rub, and they're perfect. You can wrap them in bacon. You can wrap them in other things. Prosciutto, I've seen people stuff them inside a pineapple, a hollowed out pineapple. You can glaze them with things. There's just something about a really good pork tenderloin cooked well. It can be the simplest thing you do with it, or you can take it even further, and it tastes great no matter what you do. And I think you said in this one you were making some, was it a citrus honey glaze or something? Some sort of glaze you were heating up? Drop it in the chat and let us know what it was, because, yeah, I can't remember the specifics, Tim. Oh, man. Forget the marks on there, the charcoal marks. Look at the color of that pork loin. That is just beautiful. Beautifully done, Tim. Just, you don't even have to slice into this right here to know how good it's going to be. Just that color. Look at that. And then look, perfect. You know, they call pork the other white meat. It's true. And I like the fact that, you know, you don't, as they recommend now, you know, it used to be cook pork to like, you know, 170 degrees. You got to be safe. You know, now the recommended for whole cuts of pork like this is about 145 minimum. I think that's the USDA recommendation. And I think when you're able to cook it to a little bit of that lower temperature like that, you just get a much juicier cut like this. I mean, this is juicy, I can tell. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, man. I wish I was there. That looks really good, Tim. Really, really good. Oh, and of course, Tim. Tim sent me this photo and said, of course, I had to have a snack while everything was cooking. So, of course, you got to have a snack. I hope you don't mind that I threw this photo in there, Tim. I just love that. The little hot dog sitting there ready, waiting for everybody else to join the party. And we're back to the beginning. So let me switch back here to full screen and get that there. So thanks, everybody, for sending in photos. Again, if you want to send in photos, have them featured on the live stream, just go to my Facebook page, private message them to me with a statement saying you give me permission to use them in a live stream, or go to the About section of my YouTube page on a computer or laptop or desktop computer. I don't think this link is there in the like iPhone or Android thing. And in the About section, there should be a link that says View Email Address. You can email them to me with the same statement, just attachment with the photo, and say, give me permission to use them, and we'll get them in a future live stream. All right, let me jump back in chat here and see how we're doing. Let me get caught up. Let's see. Marco Veronese. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Marco. Hi, Ryan, from Italy, from Milan. Pleased to meet you. Thank you for your video. I'm really learning a lot. Today I cooked more or less 4 kilograms of pulled pork for a party of 18 hungry guys. Thanks. Nice. Let's see. 4 kilograms would be about 8 or 9 pounds. Is it 2.2 pounds per kilogram? Or am I off on that? I don't do conversions good in my head. I think it's somewhere around there. So 4 kilograms, good. Nice. Glad it worked out. And it's nice of you to make that for people. Jonathan Taylor, are you still using wire brushes? Saw the warning vid you did. I still use mine and then brush it with newspaper after. Have you found something that works better? I use the coiled wire brush. When I say wire brush now, that's what I'm talking about. It's a coiled wire, not the bristles. And the coiled wire works fine. I haven't had any problem with that. Basically it's one long strand of wire in there. I have seen some that have broken, but they don't. You can snip them off and take that coil out. So that works fine for me. But the bristle ones I don't use anymore for cooking level scraping or anything. I will use it under the cooking grate if I take the cooking grate out and I'm cleaning the bottom of the kettle or something like that to scrape something down. But I won't use that at grate level or above to avoid those wire bristles falling, because it happened to a friend. It happened to a couple people in the city where I live. So, I didn't really used to believe that, but honestly, it's just one of those things. When it starts happening close to home, you take a different look at it. And so, yeah, I don't use the wire bristles anymore, just to be safe. Let's see. Robert Barnes, same size. Okay, nice. Let's see. That 26-inch does look like a beast, and that's why I want one. I want that extra real estate for a 26-inch. I want to be able to do, a brisket on there more easily than you would on the 22-inch. Have a little bit more space to do a larger thing like that. So some more racks of ribs on there would be nice. Let's see. Robert Barnes using applewood for the pastrami. Okay, nice. I did a pastrami in the sort of the shortcut pastrami in the electric smoker. I did a video on it, and I can't remember what wood I used. It might have been apple, but I cannot remember. I'll have to look back and see. Tenderloin roast. Cool. That's what I thought you said. That's what I thought you said. Marco says, great meatballs. Yeah, those were good-looking meatballs. And if any of you out there have never smoked meatballs, you just saw what, Robert did there. And it's just such a great flavor. Really good flavor you get from them. So give it a shot sometime if you haven't. Make your favorite meatballs any way you would. And instead of doing them in the oven or something like that, and I've done meatballs many different ways, my favorite way is to smoke them, because you get such a great flavor, and especially if you add them to that sauce afterwards. Just terrific. Char Griller, how you doing? Char Griller, we just did the photos. I had your photos in there, man. Oh, good morning to you. Yeah, it's funny. There's way fewer people in the live stream today, and I think it's because somehow YouTube didn't send out notifications. I know a couple of people have said they didn't get the notification. So either that or, I don't know, people just hate me now. I don't know. I don't think they hate me. So let's see. Great. Robert Barnes says, great looking cooks, Tim. Yep, absolutely. Everything looked great today. That's why I love doing these photos. Not only are they things that, I know you guys want to see, I like to see them too. because I like to see what everybody else is making. And I've gotten ideas from seeing some of the things people have done in these photos too. So, yeah. Jonathan says, nice pork, Tim. Yep, absolutely. Tim Van Dyke, yes, it was a citrus glaze that you made. Oh, okay, it was that one. All right, great. I cut the tenderloin in half and sliced 4 thick center cut chops for later. It's interesting. I'll do that with a big pork loin too, if you get them. Let's say you want to do just a smaller whole pork loin. I'll take the other half and chop it up into, you know, just big chops, and it's nice, yeah. Adam Deegan, how are you doing? Didn't see you there. Thanks for showing my brisket ride from all the way up in Massachusetts. Well, welcome. I'm glad you stopped in to see that. Yeah, it's a nice looking brisket, man. Nice looking. Good color. Good look. I'll bet it tasted great too. Champ DC, hey Rye, you should do a 60-day dry age prime brisket and smoke it. Yeah, you know, I've seen people do that. I saw Greg over at Ballistic Barbecue. He did one recently. He actually did a couple dry aged briskets. I think he did one a shorter period, and then he did like his 60-day. I think he said it ended up being 63 days. So I might do that at some point in the future. You know, it's one of those things. It's deciding when you're going to do those larger cuts and how you're going to work that into not only what you want to put out as a video, but food storage. You know, I need a second refrigerator. I only have the one refrigerator, and, you know, with a family, that gets filled with just normal stuff. So I've been thinking about just putting one in the garage, and I've been hesitant, but I may just end up doing that just so I can put other things in there. Yeah. But a 60-day dry age would be interesting to do. I mean, Greg's looked interesting. And the thing that I noticed about that when he did it, and if any of you haven't seen it, go over to Ballistic Barbecue. And it's very recent, the one he did. It was a 60-day aged prime brisket, I think. And it was interesting to see that when it finishes its sort of drying and it gets that sort of, it's not even a skin on the outside. It would be similar to like what you would hear people say on like a salmon that you're curing, like a pellicle or something like that, that you have to sort of shave that off before you do the smoking. And I get that because you're not going to get any of that smoke flavor through that more than likely. But it's an interesting process. I've never really considered doing it until I started seeing Greg do those couple of briskets. Yeah. Tim Van Dyke, the sauce from the smoked meatballs was great. I had extra sauce left over and made some more spaghetti noodles and just put the sauce over them. The smoke flavor is great in the sauce. Yep. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize when you smoke meatballs. If you add them to the sauce, you transfer a lot of that flavor, and it gives an extra depth of flavor to your pasta sauce. It's really amazing. Marco says, thanks, Rye. 4 kilograms, 8.8 pounds more or less. So are you saying my math was right? I actually remembered the conversion. 2.2 times 4 would be 8. Yeah, wow. I get confused between kilograms and kilometers. I think a kilometer is one, no, a mile is 1.62 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes. So it's kind of one of those things I get mixed up in my head, and I'm never sure of it. Char Griller, I missed it, but I did catch Tim's cooks. Mine paled by comparison, I'm sure. I don't know, you look pretty good too. And one thing to remember, if you miss a live stream, the live streams, when they're done, they don't show up in my general video feed. Like if you went to the page and just started looking at videos, they wouldn't be there, because one of the problems is when you put a live stream among other videos, it gets sort of cluttered up in the way YouTube presents things. But you can always find the live streams under the playlist section of my page. If you go to playlists, there's a whole section there of live streams. And if you just click that and open it up, you can scroll through and pick the live stream you missed, and you can watch it. So basically what a live stream becomes once it's done is unlisted. It doesn't show up on the main YouTube page of my channel. It's under a playlist. So that's how you can always find it if you miss it. Let's see. Tim Van Dyke, I love seeing what others are grilling. Nice ideas. Absolutely. I love showcasing this stuff and sharing it because, you know, I do these videos and things to kind of share what I'm doing. Hopefully people get some things out of them. And I also like sharing what other people are doing because there's some great ideas out there that other people have, and they may not have a YouTube channel. So I like being able to share that, you know, not just the photos, but then in chat, people can talk about what they were. It's kind of like me asking, what wood did you use for the pastrami? And someone may have been thinking about, okay, well, how would I do a pastrami? What sort of wood would I use? Well, we just answered that in the video and in chat, or in the live stream and in chat. And I like being able to do that. I think it's cool, the interaction. Let's see. Fritz Clark. Fritz, how you doing? Thanks for all the videos. Did a brisket today with snow falling in Ohio. Nice. Oh, I know I always say I love snow. We don't get snow where I live here. And someday I want to live where there's actual seasons, including a winter season with snow. And that's the plan. But I know it's more difficult in the cold to do that. So, hats off to you for doing that. But it's got to be fun too, I imagine. Let's see. Mandy Speakman, it's January, right? Everyone has New Year's resolutions and are eating salads. Don't worry, they get bored. By February, will be back. That's true. January is one of those months. If you've been doing or watching YouTube for a while, one of the things that happens in January and February is in videos, you'll notice sort of the income from videos, if you're earning money from it, go like this. And that's because all the advertisers spent all their money, the last 3 months of the previous year for the holiday season. And then they kind of go for a while. And then right around, like, say, late February, early March, it starts to pick up again because people are starting to, see the spring come and stuff like that. So it happens. But yeah, but I do think there is an issue still with notifications not getting out to everybody. I've heard that from other channels and other people I talk to. Yeah. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor. I've always said I wouldn't go into Trader Joe's because ours is always packed, but after seeing all the things you have from them, I'm going to stop in. What's the must thing to grab? Maybe 21 Seasoning Salute? There are two things. The 21 Seasoning Salute, and that's an awesome seasoning if you want to avoid salt or don't want to add too much salt because there's no salt in it. Another one, if they have it, and they don't always have it, it's one of those seasonal things at Trader Joe's, is the South African Smoked Seasoning Blend. I love that stuff. I used it in so many things, and I'm out of it now. And the Trader Joe's, near me is out of it. They don't have it right now. So, yeah, Trader Joe's gets crowded. I know what you're talking about. There's two near us. One of them is much better than the other just for parking. The other one, it's hideous parking. They actually have like a guard outside waving people in and telling them where to park. It's like insane. I like Trader Joe's. I get stuff there, but really, is it something you need to like just everybody pour into at the same time? But yeah, no, those two things, 21 Seasoning Salute, and if they happen to have the South African Smoked Seasoning Blend, grab it. Grab more of it than you think you'll use. I think it comes in a grinder, those little built-in grinders where you twist it. Great stuff. Let's see. Caught up. Yeah, Tim Van Dyke says the 21 seasoning is great. Yeah, I think if you watched my prime rib video where I did it on the gas grill, I did half of that prime rib with the 21 Seasoning Salute. I think I did a whole thing and added salt on the other, but that 21 Seasoning Salute is a terrific seasoning for cuts of beef like that especially. I've used it on other things, but I think it really is good on beef. And it's just one of those things, especially if you need a lower salt diet, and we have people in our family who can't have as much sodium. That works perfectly. And I got to tell you, on that prime rib, after it crusted and you have that seasoning on there, I had slices from both sides. I would not pick one over the other. They both tasted amazing. The side with salt and the side without salt. They were just amazing. Let's see. Chargriller says, good tipper. I'll go back and view later. Yeah, so if any of you want to watch the live stream later and you miss part of it or watch any of the previous ones, go to the playlist section of my YouTube page and you'll just scroll through the playlists. You'll see like cooking ribs, cooking brisket. That's where you sort of put all the videos together. So if someone wants to go and binge watch like rib videos, they can do that. There's also a playlist for live streams. And so when this one's done, it'll be added to that playlist. Usually it takes 2 or 3 hours for YouTube to process it before it becomes available. At least that's what I've found. So, you can always go back and watch it later. Let's see. Jonathan Taylor, congrats, Ryan, getting over 20,000 subscribers. I know. It's crazy. I think it was last, I want to say like last Saturday or something. Or was it 2 weeks ago? I honestly can't remember. But yeah, I remember looking and we were getting close. But I've been doing this now for, let's see, a year and 10 months. I started, I believe, I want to say in March of 2017. And I can't remember the exact date of my first video. It was, I always say, I wasn't even in that first video. It was just me showing modifications to the Oklahoma Joe's Highland. And I think my second video might have been a tri-tip video. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might have been. So yeah, less than 2 years. I thought I might hit 5,000 subscribers after a couple years when I started. I thought maybe I'd get like 1,000 after like maybe a year. I think it was about 9 months before I got 1,000. So I was feeling like then like, oh, okay, pretty cool. And then got a really, really, really nice shout out from Russ over at Smoky Ribs Barbecue. You know, he gave a really nice shout out to my channel, and a lot of new people came in right then. I think in the month after that, I grew by 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers easily, and I was averaging maybe, I don't know, 300 a month, you know, before that. And then I think right around the same time was when I told myself and I decided I'm going to commit to doing 4 videos a week. And so I started putting out 4 videos a week, and I don't believe I've missed a week since I started doing that. I think that was last April or May. I think it was April, but I'm not 100% sure. But I don't believe I've missed a week without 4 videos. Some weeks I've actually had 5 videos. So I think that's helped my channel grow. But yeah, still 20,000. I can't believe that. I just still can't believe that, you know, it hit that number. Now I want to grow more. That's my plan. I keep doing stuff to try and enhance that, but it's still crazy to me that 20,000 people have decided to subscribe. I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah, thank you very much for that, for the congrats. It's really nice. Mandy Speakman, it's a great time for my job as a fitness coach class instructor. Booming right now, right after the holidays. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Chargrilla, the parking at RTJ is terrible as well. Must be part of the business model. Yeah, and it's funny because I think they've gotten better over the years. I remember the first Trader Joe's I went into, dude, easily over, let's see, my wife and I have been married 28 years. It was before that. And the aisles, I kid you not, were like this. You could barely get one cart down an aisle. It's kind of like a one-way street. You know, someone would come in the cart, someone would have to back up. So I think as they grew, they've, you know, improved their interior design and model. But yeah, the parking at the one especially is just hideous. Yeah, really, really hideous. Marco, today finally I found the Desert Gold seasoning in Italy. Nice. That's the Big Papa Smokers Desert Gold seasoning. I love that stuff. I remember you used that for some meat, but I don't remember which one in particular. Could you help me, please? Thanks. I've used that, Marco, on everything. I've used that on chicken, on pork, and beef. It's really good on chicken. Really, really good on chicken. But I would use it on anything. It's a great color too. You know, it's called Desert Gold, and so when you put it on something, it's got that nice gold color. And so it's just a beautiful thing to see too when you start cooking it. So yeah, if you were thinking of something to try first, I would try some chicken. But gotta be honest with you, it's good. If I had to, let me put it this way: if I had to rank it, I would say chicken, pork, and then beef for the Desert Gold. I've used it on ribs especially. Really good on ribs. Really good on ribs. Let's see. Tim Van Dyke, I missed that about the 20,000. Congratulations, Rye. Well, thank you, Tim. Yeah. 20,000, 20K. Like, yeah, crazy. I think I'm like 20,600 and something today. Chargriller, 20,000. That's not bad. Yeah. I'm happy with it. Again, I thought, honestly, after 2 years, I'd be somewhere maybe around 5,000. I was really excited if I could reach that goal. So 20,000, I'm very, very fortunate that my channel has grown like that. I do work hard at it. I'm not bragging, but I do work hard at it. You know, putting out 4 videos a week, you know, takes work. And you got to just do it on days sometimes when there's other stuff going on. And I'm fortunate that I can do that, commit the time to it. But I'm having a great time. I just am. I'm having a great time doing this. So I'm very happy. But thank you. Yeah. Mandy says, awesome, great job. Thank you very much. Yeah. Tim Van Dyke, I just got serious about grilling and smoking last April. I found your channel when we were vacationing at the beach in June. I spent a lot of time surfing YouTube videos. I also found Piff then. Yeah, Phil in Florence. Phil is a great guy. I say to him, whenever I get a Weber Smoky Mountain, I'm going to go and just do everything he's done to his all at once. And I joked with him a couple weeks ago. I said, what are you going to do next to your because he's got a WSM that's got a lot of nice additions that he's done to it. You know, not just things that you would think about, just some simple things, but they're really cool. And I said to him, what are you going to do? Strap a V10 on it? Because it's like he's got everything else. It's like, yeah, if you guys have never been over to Phil's channel, Phil in Florence, I think it's PHIL in Florence. He's from Florence. Is it North Carolina? I think it's North Carolina. Not South Carolina. I think it's North Carolina. He does great videos. He's a big college football fan, he and his wife. And they do like party party game day foods and things like that. So he's a great guy, great character. And I'm always jealous when he does his garden videos because he's got this nice big area that he plants garden in every year. And I'm always jealous of that because in Southern California, you know, you don't have that space usually in a suburban, you know, house. You're lucky if you have enough room for, you know, a medium-sized garden, you know, and so he plants corn and collard greens and just everything. And it just, I always drool whenever he plants his garden and starts harvesting. It's awesome. So check him out. Yeah. Let's see. Doug Cox, how you doing, Doug? Hey, finished getting some firewood, so I was delayed. No problem. Glad you could get here. Yeah. He's in Tim Van Dyke, Florence, South Carolina. Oh, it's south, not north. Okay, good. Good to know. I know he'd probably be angry at me if I said North Carolina. I know there's probably a rivalry or something. Marco, another question about rub. It's essential for me. What about Money Championship Rub? I bought that one too. Thanks again. I'm not familiar with that one, but the thing to remember about rubs is, especially commercial rubs. Now, I make a lot of my own, but I will use rubs all the time. And in fact, there's some very commercial rubs that I use that some people have sneered at in the past, but like one of my favorite rubs to use on ribs is Famous Dave's Rib Rub. I just like that blend. It works really well. If you buy a commercial rub, you know, one that's already pre-made and everything like that, try it. You know, there's the idea with a rub is to put enough there that you're going to, depending on the cut you're using, let's say you're doing, you know, beef, you want to help develop some bark. Same thing with pork butt. You know, the rub is there to season that and help that. You don't want to go overboard with the rub. So always, if you're trying a new rub, start small. You know, like I said with chicken, that's what's great about that Desert Gold rub. You can use it on some chicken thighs or, you know, chicken legs, things like that. You don't have to go out and do, you know, a brisket or something if you're not sure about the rub. Do it on something smaller first. See how you like it. See how much you want to use in it. And honestly, see if you want to add something to it. I will take some rubs. In fact, I've done this with the Desert Gold rub before. I've added brown sugar to just give it more sweetness. So I'll mix, you know, say 3 or 4 tablespoons of the Desert Gold rub with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and mix that up. And then you have enough rub for, you know, 1 piece of meat, a larger piece of meat, maybe, you know, a pork butt or something. So yeah, mix it up, try it, do it on smaller things until you get the flavor you like. Yeah. Doug Cox, I barely have room for my kids in my house. Yeah. Yeah, you've got a few more kids than I do, though, you know. And yours are younger. You have, I'm trying to remember, have you got one in college now? I think you have one in college, yeah. I've got 2 college age. Let's see. Horatio, sorry, Rye, I was cleaning the kettle and took some time. That's no problem, Horatio. We had your photos in the thing. So if you missed that, as I mentioned to people, you can go back and re-watch this. It's not listed on my main page, but once it's done, I think a couple hours after it's done, you can go to the playlist section and look for live streams. And then you can find this live stream and any of the previous live streams to watch if you want to see your photos and things there. So yeah. So yeah, we had your photos in there looking good. Robert Perry says, in one of your videos, you said you had wished you used the Nomex for the sides of the firebox on the Oklahoma Joe's Highland Smoker instead of the RTV 650. What about between the firebox and smoke chamber? Between the firebox and the smoke chamber, I used the RTV. I think what I did, and if I remember the video correctly, on it was my very first video, I basically took the basically red silicone, the high heat silicone, and I created a bead, almost creating a gasket, and I let that dry for a little bit before I put the firebox to the cooking chamber and bolted them together. So that's worked out fine. I've not had any leakage from there. That was a fairly good mating. I could see that it was going to mate flat. Now, on the 2 halves of the firebox, when you get it, it comes in a top half and a bottom half, and you bolt it together. I could tell after testing that there was a gap. So I was thinking about using the gasket material and then out sealing it with the red, and I didn't. The reds worked okay. If I had to do it again and I still had that large of a gap, I probably would use some more of that. So yeah. But it's worked fine. I haven't had any leakage from there. The only gasket that I had fail was the one on the firebox door, and I probably should have known that. I should have thought about that before I did it. And honestly, it's not that big of a deal what comes out of there. Mine mates up pretty well. Obviously, a little bit of smoke comes out of there and some heat, but it's not a big deal. So I just wouldn't have done the gasket on the firebox door if I had to do it again. Let's see. Doug Cox. Yep, one in high. You only have 1 in high school? The rest are not in high school yet? Oh, man. You got a while to go, Doug. You got a while to go. Char Griller, never used to commercial rubs until I started watching YouTube videos. Now I use a couple of the ones I like on a regular basis. There's some good ones out there. Yeah, there's some very good commercial rubs out there. I've been sent rubs from people to try that are, really good. And one of the ones that I like, it's what's the company? Flaps 20. They make good rubs. There's a thriller rub and a cowboy rub. One is a little more, I think it's the cowboy rub. Is a little more southwestern flavor in it. I think it has some cumin, and that's really good. I think the thriller rub was more of a sweet one. I really like those, though. Yeah. Let's see. Doug Cox, and one in college, rest in elementary. You got a ways to go. You got a ways to go. Horatio, awesome. Thanks. You're very welcome, Horatio. Brandon Larson, hello, Salt Lake City. Sorry I'm late. Not a problem. Not a problem there. Barry Kruby. Barry, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Kruby? Kruby? Good going with 20,000. Enjoy your videos. Thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, 20,000. I don't even know what I will feel, if I reach 100,000. I keep looking, okay, the next sort of milestone is 30,000. And I don't know how long it'll take to reach that. It really just depends on, like, when you look at, how many subscribers you get every day, and does it continue? Does it dip? So it's really hard to estimate when you're going to reach sort of that another sort of tier of subscribers. It's really just about, do you keep putting out content that people find value in? And do they get something out of it, and do they want to come back? And, does someone who just sees that content for the first time go, oh, I want more of this, I'll subscribe. If you'll notice in my videos, I used to say, please subscribe, here's this, like that. I don't say that anymore. In fact, the only place, if I'm correct, in my videos that it even gives like a hint, subscribe, is at the very end, at the end screens. I have this little graphic that comes up. But I just decided, and I'm not saying I'd never change this, but I just decided that if people want to subscribe and they like my videos, they'll subscribe. I just decided I wasn't going to do the sort of asking you to subscribe thing. Nothing wrong with that for people who do it. It's called a call to action, in sort of the industry. It's call to action. You ask people to do something that you want them to do. Buy this product or subscribe to my channel. I just decided I was not going to do that anymore. I was going to see how it worked, and I have to be honest with you. My subscriber growth has been greater since I stopped doing that than it was when I was doing it. Why is that? I don't know. I hope that the content I'm putting out is speaking for itself and is something that people find value in and they want more of it. So I'm happy. It's working well. Yeah. Let's see. Marco Veronese. And what about Tabasco? If I'm not mistaken, you never used that for your recipes. Have you any ideas? I've used Tabasco in sauces and things like that in several recipes, actually. I don't use it on meat in terms of like for a rub or a seasoning or anything like that. It's very strong. Not everyone likes Tabasco. I love Tabasco, but I wouldn't even use that sort of as pouring a whole thing of Tabasco on the outside of a piece of meat. It's just a very strong flavor that works well in smaller batches, I believe. I'll put it in dressings and sauces, things like that to give it just a little kick. I love the flavor of it, but it can be overpowering. Let's see. Carlo Bobiles. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Knowing what you know about barbecuing, which smoker do you feel you could live without? Ooh, could or couldn't? Well, I'll take your question for what it is. Wow, which smoker that I have could I live without? I could live without the... Well, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to hate myself for saying it. I could live without the Oklahoma Joe's because I have the kettle. And I've said before in live streams that if I could only choose one cooker to use, it would be the kettle because you can do anything in it. That said, it has a capacity issue that you can get more capacity in, like an offset smoker. A 26-inch kettle will give you more capacity, and that's why I'm going to get one of those. But yeah, if I could only if I had to get rid of one of the ones that I have, it would probably no. Oh, man, that's a tough question. That's like, which kid do you want to get rid of? I was going to think, well, maybe it'd be the electric, but I use that electric all the time, and it does some things really great. It's like an outdoor oven that's simple. You plug it in and use it. Man, that's a tough question. I'd have to say the offset, but I wouldn't want to. Yeah. If it was one I couldn't live without, then it would be the kettle. I would keep the kettle. Yeah. Brandon Larson, we have to make Costco run for some chuck roast. Nice. Nice. Barry Kruby, you nailed the last name. I hope it's Kruby. I'm not great with last names, but you know, when I see someone's name spelled differently, look at mine, R-Y-N-E. I just say Ryan, but it's Ryan. That's, you know, so I've had to deal with names spelling different things my whole life. That's why it's Cooking with Rye. Doug Cox, hit the like button. Well, yeah, and if you're here and you're enjoying it, you know, show some love. Give us a like on the video, on the live stream. Appreciate it. Yeah. Chargriller, hey, Rye, if you can transfer subs, I think I have 6 to help out. No, I don't think you can transfer subs. In fact, it's funny, you know, as some channels grow, they'll actually start a second channel to like do things that aren't quite in that sort of niche that they're in. And you usually get a lot of people that transfer over to those things. But it's like starting a new channel again. You got to go through the whole process of approval and monetization and everything. So there's things I'd like to do and make videos about, but you just, you know, when you have your lane, they say stay in your lane. It really is true about YouTube for growth and things like that. It's harder to grow when you do sort of random videos about things, unless you're a personality. You know, if you're someone like Casey Neistat, you know, you can do a video about anything and people are going to watch it. People, I understand, come to my channel because of the grilling, the cooking, things like that. So I'm in my lane. I like my lane, actually, so it's good. I enjoy my lane. I get to eat in my lane. How much better can things be than that? Let's see. Chargriller, that was a great question, Carlo. Oh, could, yeah. Could. So that was could, man. That's tougher than couldn't. Couldn't live without. Asking to get rid of one versus just choose one. Wow, that is a hard question, but I think I would have to say my offset. And that's you'd have to find a way to live without it, but I'm glad I don't have to make that choice. Yeah. Clinton Nunley. Clinton, how are you doing? What's up, Bri? Got some beef cheeks on the PBC. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Yeah, someone did some beef cheeks recently. I can't remember who it was on a video. And I saw it and I said, I've got to get some of those because they looked really, really good. Oh, man, who did the beef cheeks? I can't remember. But it was a really good video, and they look so tender done right. It reminded me a little bit of oxtail. You know, you smoke them on there, get them super tender, fork tender. So that's what they looked like in terms of how you end up with them. I want to give those a try. 1-to-1. Put a 4-pan rump roast on the Z-Grill an hour and a half ago. We're going to use the slicer for poor man's Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. Nice. Yeah, rump roast is perfect for that. I want to get a slicer, like a full-on commercial slicer. I've wanted to for a while. Again, it's all sort of the things of like, where are you going to put stuff? You know, in your backyard, where are you going to put the new kettle or the new cooker or whatever you get? Or inside, where are you going to put the slicer? You know, I not only use a good portion of our, you know, pantry for stuff, there's a whole other cabinet and several, actually more than one cabinet in our family room that's sort of closed, that's next to the kitchen, that I have all my cooking stuff in. So my wife has been very gracious in letting me have a lot of space, but yeah, I just have to find a space for if I want a slicer. I want a slicer. You know, I'd have to probably move the meat grinder to a less accessible place, and the meat grinder wouldn't like that. I know. Let's see. Doug Cox, new line of beard products by Bat Cow. Yeah. Bat Cow beard something. Yeah. Smoking barbecue tips and recipes. Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you here. 1-to-1. I subscribe because you're just a regular guy. No, I appreciate that. Cool. Well, thank you. Pardon me. And that's one of the things that, you know, again, I'm not dissing anybody that does this, but I think, you know, some people have every toy and every gadget and every thing that costs, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, and it looks cool and it's fun to watch those videos. But like, if I watch one of those videos, I'm thinking, all right, how could I make that if I want to make that dish that they're making on what I have? And that's one of the reasons that I use the Weber kettle so much, because it's probably one of the most well-known pieces of barbecue equipment in the world. Probably more people have that or a version of that than anything. And you can transfer recipes from that very easily to a smoker, like say a full-on offset smoker or a gas grill most of the time. So I love using it because it's versatile. And I think if you do something on that, someone has a higher likelihood of saying, I can do that. I can make exactly what that guy's making because I have, if not that kettle, I have something similar. So, and it's funny because someone made a comment on an older video of mine recently when they must have just found it, and I've mentioned it several times in live streams, and that's a DIY smoker. I did a video called DIY smoker where I made a smoker out of 2 foil pans and some skewers, some metal skewers, and I cooked a tri-tip on it. And I gotta tell you, that tri-tip came out great. Cooked on a makeshift smoker. Now, the reason I did that was just sort of for fun, but also I was thinking, what if I was going to go to the beach or something, you know, have a beach party, and I wanted to smoke like a tri-tip or some ribs or something, and I didn't obviously want to haul a smoker down there. Would there be a way to do it? And this was a video where I figured out, yeah, I could do it. I could take 2 big foil pans, some metal skewers, and smoke a piece of meat, and it worked. So it's fun to do those things, you know, versus saying, hey, I've got a $10,000 smoker I just, you know, went out and bought. You know, I did it with probably $4 of foil pans and some skewers, and it worked great. So it's fun to do those things. Yeah. Let's see. 1-to-1 says, we bought a 10 degree Bestwood, and we love it. Funny you mentioned the pantry. That's its home. Yeah, I mean, everything gets shoved somewhere. You know, we've got 2 older, you know, our kids are, you know, 20 and 18. One's away at college. And so there's fewer bodies in the house now, but there's still a lot of stuff, you know. In fact, one of the things my wife and I are doing this weekend is we're going through stuff and trying to see, can we get rid of some stuff? So, yeah. Char Griller. I bought a slicer a few years back. Great for slicing pastrami, roast beef for French dip, or pit beef sandwiches. Also use it to slice beef for jerky. Yeah, that would be nice for making beef jerky. You know, you set it at what, like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch. Get really good thin jerky slices. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, you need to get your wife in the videos showing how she makes her sauces, etc. Too many times you say your wife made the sauce and leave it like, what the heck, I want to make that. Yeah, we've talked about that, and she is going to do some more things. I've made some of her sauces, and we always talk about what we're going to make in videos and things like that. But yeah, we'll have her do some stuff. Like she makes a killer coleslaw, and I've used it a couple times in videos. I don't think I've actually shown how to make it, but that's one of the things. Doctoring up barbecue sauces, she does all the time. I don't think we buy salad dressing anymore. She just makes it. It's super simple and super easy. So yeah, like we'll get her in there some more. She's been in a few times, but we'll get her in some more. Let's see. Brett Cleany, you should do a video on smoking whole potatoes. I did a video on potato wedges, smoking potato wedges in my electric smoker. I did both russet potato wedges and sweet potato wedges, and they were great. Whole potatoes, yeah, I could do a smoked whole potato thing. If I was going to do that, though, I would cut them in half. Because unless you're going to put something on the outside to help absorb the smoke flavor, you're really just going to get a little bit of it on that dry skin. You're going to have to do something to it. And if you open it up and let's say you do it on the electric smoker or the kettle or even on the offset, you place some halves face down on there, you're going to get more of that smoke flavor into the flesh right there. And it's going to adhere to it. There's a little more moisture there. Doug Cox, I have a 20-year-old smoker by an out-of-the-biz company where the lid to the firebox and smoker are held down with bricks. It has beautiful rusted patina about it. Can't afford to upgrade. Doug, I've seen the stuff you make on it. It works. It does. And it's funny, when you look at my kettle is not that old. It's maybe a year and a half old, this one. The outside is not 100% clean. I clean it, but it gets used 3 or 4 times a week. You know, it's not ever going to be 100% clean and look perfect, and the edges are a little bit dinged up, and, you know, I've done things to it, modifications, but it works, man. That's one of the reasons you see Weber kettles sitting around 40 years later. As long as they don't rust out, they work. Marco Vernies, goodbye, Ryan. Goodbye to all. Great idea. Live stream. I'm going to have my dinner since it's 9:05 in Italy. See you next time in the next videos. Thank you, Marco, for coming by. I appreciate that. Have a great dinner. Great dinner. Jonathan Taylor, that was my comment on the DIY smoker. Ah, there you go. That's right. Again, me spending way too much on fishing equipment and watching the kid catch all day. And I tell you something. I don't think I mentioned this in the comment. I've seen that same thing, man. I've gone out and spent money on fishing gear, and I like to fish, but I'm not a great fisherman. I just like the idea of sitting by a stream or lake and throwing my thing in there. But I've seen the same thing. I've seen kids with, string on a stick. In fact, that was the first time I was taught to fish, was just using a line wrapped around a stick with a hook at the end. Yeah, it's not the equipment, it's the method. There's really no other way to say that. You can have the cheapest piece of equipment and get great results. And really, sometimes, expense makes things easier. You spend more money on something and it does cut out some of the things you have to do in between. It helps. So there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But if you can't do that or decide not to do that, man, you can get great results with, like I said, my kettle is, I think I got it for 140 bucks, something like that. And you can spend a lot less on, you can get them secondhand. You can get them on Craigslist for, 30, 40 bucks sometimes. So as long as it's not rusted out and the little, the things that hold the cooking grater there, they'll work. Yeah. Robert Barnes, I bought a slicer. I store it on a shelf in my garage. It's a great investment as per thin slicing. Yeah, I agree. Jim Z, do you have a preference when cooking with charcoal as far as brands? I say I just use the regular Kingsford Blue. I don't have any issues with it. It burns stable. It burns like they're all the same size generally, so you're gonna have a stable cook as long as you add a certain amount. I don't have the problems with excess ash that I know some people say they have with it. When I've used other charcoal, there's ash from that charcoal. Charcoal burns down to ash. I've used Royal Oak Lump, which I like when doing direct grilling, but generally I just use plain old Kingsford Blue. That's my preference. I've used other things, and I just haven't found enough of a difference to justify paying more for it. So yeah. Char Griller, a perfectly clean barbecue is a wasted barbecue. Well, I've seen some pretty clean barbecues, and I look at them and I wonder how much time does someone spend cleaning it? Now, if that's your thing and you want a clean barbecue, awesome. I don't want mine dirty, but I'm never going to get the cooking grate down to shiny metal again. I know that. I just don't have the time and patience to do that. I've seen people do it, but I just don't have the time and patience to get it down to bright, shiny chrome metal again. My cooking grates, as I always say, I use them for a while, and then I'll, 6 months, and then I'll replace them, don't have to worry about cleaning it quite as much. But yeah. And then the old ones go in storage and then on the fire pit, which we have a little cooking thing on too. Let's see. Char Griller, caught my first fish with a stick and a hook and line found on the ground. First barbecue was a drugstore hibachi. Yeah, our first barbecue was one of those little, it wasn't the hibachi one, but it was just like, it might have even been like a Weber Smoky Joe or something, one of those little ones. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing all the things you can do with just a piece of equipment or no equipment. Think about it. Many people do this, and I did a video on it, cooking what they call caveman style. Charcoal, not necessarily charcoal briquettes, but I burned down mesquite logs until they were coals and threw a tri-tip on it. Cooked it perfectly. It came out great. Great mesquite flavor on the outside because it's resting directly on the coals. You can cook just about anything a myriad of ways, and you can get great results. It's really about just following certain methods so that you don't overcook something or undercook something. You get the right amount of tenderness, seasoning, things like that. And that's what I find so fun about this, is that I can get really complicated if I want to with something, or I can go very simple. So I really enjoy this. Let's see. Doug Cox, got to go get beer, then watch guys freeze playing football in the snow. Great vid again, right? Thank you, Doug, for stopping by. And actually, it is, got to head out of here too. I did not realize it. It's 12:13. We've been going for over an hour. Okay, wow, that time flew. So anyway, want to say thank you to everybody for stopping in today. Again, if you're looking for the replay of this, just go to the playlist section on my YouTube page, and you can click on the playlist and scroll through and find live streams, and then just scroll through those until you find the one you want to watch, and have a good time. So again, thank you everybody for stopping by today. Appreciate it. Get out there and grill if you can today, or smoke something, and just have a good time, because that's what it's all about. Thank you, everybody.